It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Mount Mercy's assistant women's basketball coach, Coach Shareece Burrell. How are you doing today?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to start coaching in college women's basketball?
Yes. So it all started back when I was 7 years old. I started playing basketball. My dad had us playing in a rec league, and he coached me up until high school, actually. And I fell in love with the game when I was young, and I knew basketball was just something that I just loved to do. It was a hobby at first, but then it became just something that I was like passionate about. And so one thing for me, I've had many great coaches that's came around. I had Coach Sam Powell, my high school coach. We ended up winning a state championship with him. I played in college basketball. I had two coaches, and then even my AU coaches. So all these different coaches, they just showed me what they were doing, how they were helping other players and helping players become better. And just for me, example, they helped me become to where I am today. So I knew from that point on, like watching them and how they've inspired me and helped me become this person that I am today, I knew I wanted to do that for someone else. I knew I wanted to encourage other players and let kids know that they can do it, the same way I had someone else encouraging me.
What was it like going to Bradley and playing for the basketball program?
Playing for Bradley, it was amazing. I played from 2014 to 2018, and I had two coaches. I had a male and a female coach. And from my teammates, just spending time with these girls. So you go to college, you don't really know these players, you don't know who you're meeting, and then you build this relationship and they become a family. And so it was very family oriented at Bradley University. And then I had great connections. So it wasn't even just the basketball. It was just even from academics. I had support. We had the booster club. Like there was so many different people that played a huge impact in my life at Bradley. And just moving to Illinois, I had a great time. And so playing for that team, it definitely was incredible.
What was it like getting to put on that red Bradley jersey?
Well, that jersey, it meant a lot to me. So I was number 20. My dad was actually number 20. He was very impactful in my life and has been still to this day. I always dreamed of playing college basketball. I knew one day that I can potentially play and get a full ride scholarship. And so to be able to wear that jersey every day, it was incredible. Like it was very humbling and it pushed me. And I knew I represented something. When I put on that Bradley jersey, I knew what I represented. And so I had to look at that as a way of like, I have to be better each and every day. I have to remember I play for Bradley women's basketball team. So I represent this team. So I have to do what's best for this team at all times. So honestly, everywhere I went, there was someone always talking to me about, oh, you play for Bradley women's basketball. I had little girls coming up to me. And so it was just very impactful to me. It was inspiring. And I really felt special. And I felt like this jersey means so much to me. And it's more than just the jersey.
Of course, coming out of Bradley, what was it like getting started in your coaching career as a first video coordinator for UNI?
So when I got my bachelor's degree, I got my bachelor's degree in sports communication. So I knew I wanted to stay in basketball in some sort. So my first goals were when I was younger was I either wanted to be a college basketball coach or professional college basketball coach, like a WNBA coach. And then I also dreamed maybe possibly playing overseas. And so injuries got in the way. And so I knew, okay, overseas, we're probably not going to do that anymore. It was time to retire. But I knew I still wanted to be a part of the game. So Coach Tanya Warren from UNI, she actually had a great relationship with my father. And so they grew up together. And so we had that connection. And I used to go to UNI women's basketball games as a kid. And so I'm like, let me just reach out to her. So I reached out to Coach Tanya Warren at UNI, and she said, that'd be awesome that you can be the video coordinator here. And then I was the grad assistant as well. Then I ended up getting my master's degree there in women and gender studies. So I knew I had a great relationship with her immediately. So just from that point on, I was so excited to be the video coordinator, and I enjoyed my experience at UNI.
What were some of your roles at UNI as the video coordinator?
So as the video coordinator, I was able to actually practice with the girls. So I practiced with the girls every single practice, and I was able to get up and down. So I felt like a player all over again. I traveled with the team. I went to all home and away games. I would help out when it came to video. So there's a app called Synergy. And so that's where all the college coaches are. And so we are able to scout and watch film. So I was able to watch the film, send it over to our coaches. I was recording the games sometimes after our home games. And then I would talk to different coaches about the film. And so I was really able to get that on-hand training by being a video coordinator. And so I did that. I helped out with different events. We had alumni event. I worked for that event. And so the volunteer events, I worked with the volunteer events. So I did a lot of things with the women's basketball team. I was the liaison, and I helped out with the assistant coaches, the head coach. And so I just basically whatever they need, I was there to help them.
How did you know that you wanted to, from video coordinating, go down to become an assistant coach?
Good question. So when I got the position as the video coordinator, my whole goal was to be a coach. And so I was at UNI for 3 years. And so with that, being the video coordinator, I was like, okay, this is the next steps to being a coach. And I was with women's basketball. So I just wanted to stay with basketball in any shape and form. So that's where I became the video coordinator. And so then when it came to coaching, I said, okay, I've been doing this for 3 years now. I love what I'm doing, and I know I love basketball. So now it's time for that next step to actually coach. And so I was really able to get some training as a video coordinator. I feel like that was a huge stepping stone for me for that next level for where I wanted to go. And so that's when I got to coaching, and I decided, you know what? It is time for this next step in my life, and I'm ready to pursue coaching. And so I just knew from that point on, from being video coordinator, practicing with the girls, attending the games, working out, all those things, I was like, okay, coaching is what I want to do next.
What was the feeling like when you came to Mount Mercer to become the assistant coach?
So at Mount Mercy, to become the assistant coach, it was incredible. So the crazy thing was, I was a video coordinator for 3 years, as I mentioned before. I did not know that I would go to Mount Mercy. So Cedar Rapids is about an hour away from Cedar Falls. Honestly, I didn't imagine. I didn't think about it. And so I was like, okay, what's next? And then the assistant coach at Mount Mercy, before I got here, she decided she wanted to go overseas. She got the job and decided, okay, the next step is for her to leave. And so they gave me a call and they said, we have a position and we'd like for you to potentially be assistant coach here. So went through the interview process and it was great. I met with the players and we just connected immediately. I had a great bond with pretty much all of my players. And I knew from that point on, from that interview, I knew I wanted to be at Mount Mercy. And meeting with Coach Tim Skeering, the head coach, loved him. And we just connected. It seemed like we knew each other longer than we actually knew each other. And so I knew from that point on, I want to be assistant coach, and I loved it. And just being in Cedar Rapids, it's like a home away from home. I'm from Des Moines, Iowa, which is only an hour 45 away. So it's great being in Iowa. It's great to be able to be around people that really care and love the game of basketball.
What was that feeling like when your dreams finally did come true to become assistant coach on the college level?
I was elated. I will be honest, words can't even describe the joy that I had. It was really a dream come true, because it's like a kid that started playing basketball at 7 years old, their dream is finally happening. Every day I was working and working and working to be a better basketball player. And I knew basketball is what I wanted to do forever, honestly, all my life. All I knew was basketball, school, and church. And so I was like, God, I know this is what I want to do. So I'll be honest, I was praying. I'm like, I really want to do this. And then the door opened for me to be a coach at Mount Mercy. And it was just like very humbling. It was just very joyful. And I'm just so thankful that I'm able to coach at Mount Mercy.
What does a typical game day look like at Mount Mercy as the assistant coach?
So as the assistant coach, first starts off, we have our game day routines. I still get my game day nap. I always do before the game. I go home. So we have shoot around first. So we have shoot around and then we have team breakfast. And after that, we're all just talking about the game, preparing. And so at that time, I'm like, getting that routine. Honestly, it reminds me of when I used to play. I used to just get ready for the game day. I'm like, okay, now time to take a nap, regroup. And then once it's time, after I wake up from that nap, it's like, it's go time. I actually have a routine. I like to put my right shoe on first, then my left shoe next, and then I get ready to go out the door. And so then after that, when I get to the gym, first thing I immediately do, I meet with our graduate assistant and I just say, do we have everything set up for the game, ready, prepared for? And then I handle like our warm-ups. So I'm like making sure everybody is set in their place. Our girls are in there, everyone's in the locker room getting dressed. And then as warm-ups get going, I'm out there with the girls for warm-ups. I'm just communicating about what's going on, how we got to prepare for the game. I'm encouraging the girls and just really getting the girls kind of energized and just ready to play. And so then right before we go in for the pregame talk, I usually go into the girls, I talk to them one more time and just say, we can do this, kind of give them a little background information of the players. We'll just touch base and go over that. And we actually do that in our breakfast too. We have a pregame talk where we talk about all the players that we're going to be playing against that are the main players. And we go over our scout. And so we do our scout. And then once the game goes on, once we get to our halftime, I keep saying halftime, sorry, the conversation that we had before the game, our pregame talk, that's when we go over everything. And then game time.
Of course, what is it like, obviously, during the shoot around as a coach, remembering during your time what it was like for you during shoot around?
So as for shoot around, that is a time where it's like, for us, we like our players to really feel free and confident. And so that time we're just getting a lot of shots up. I think for me, when I used to play, it reminded me, if I see the ball going in the hoop, that's building my confidence. So I know for me to help these players, I got to build their confidence. So as a coach, that is my biggest emphasis that I want to encourage them. So how can I make you more confident? So I'm always, if they miss a shot, it's okay. It's shoot around. This is our time to get those missed shots out. Game time comes, we're not going to miss it. So I'm talking with them about that and I'm helping them and encouraging them. And so it's really just, it's fun. We just like to shoot. We actually play music in our shoot around. We like the girls that have energy and just feel free to do what they please and to really just get focused and let those little jitters and those little nerves out in shoot around.
Who are some of the teams that you face each week in your conference?
So we face Grandview, we face Clark, and then we face Culver Stockton. And so Graceland as well. And then we face William Penn.
What is it like, obviously, going to William and Penn to play them?
So William Penn is like a rival game for us. We are so excited. We have a lot of our fans coming. They pretty much pack the house at William Penn. And so that moment, it's really like very, very fun for the girls. I think all of us, we are just like, guys, we know what we're getting ourselves into. So we need to get ready for the loud music. We need to get ready for all the fans chanting, having their cheers. So it is actually a great time. Like our players, they get more pumped up for William Penn because there's something about playing there that our girls, they just get really ready for. They know what to expect there. When the free throws are going, we know their fans are going to be screaming. So it's just something that we like to prepare for before the game. We let them know, like, you guys know what to expect. And so once that game time comes, our girls, they're ready.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've helped build for, obviously, Mount Mercer?
Yes. So at Mount Mercy, like our emphasis is on improvement. And we like to do day to day, practice to practice, drill to drill. our culture, with it being a new and upcoming coach, so our coach Tim, this is his third year here at Mount Mercy. And so with him being a new coach, we had to change the culture. There were some things that we really needed to learn and figure out, because I mean, the previous recruits, they had their last coach and what they taught. So we had to change the culture, and that was on focusing on improving each and every day. And when I said the practice, drill to drill, we don't want to, yes, we want to win a championship, but it's so many different steps that you have to take before you get to that championship. So we want to focus on like, how can we get better each day? Every drill, we need to make sure we are specializing what we do and how we're going to get better. Our focus is do what we do. So we don't want to focus on everyone else's culture. We want to focus on how we're going to get better as a team, as a whole. And so I think when we focus on those small goals first, that really has built our culture to focus on those things, and then it would prepare us for the championship games.
What are obviously some of your accomplishments as a coach?
So one of my players, this is just one of my favorite times. We were playing Culver Stockton, and so my player, I've been shooting with her a lot individually, and her confidence was a little low. And so, but we knew she was a great shooter. So I just continued to build her up, tell her you could shoot, you could do it, you could do it. And she believed in herself, but at the same time, there was times she did not. And so the game comes, and she didn't even play really much the whole game. And her name is Sam. And so Sam decided, so we had, I think it was 6 seconds left. It was 6 seconds left, and we were down 3. So I was like, okay, Sam, we called a timeout, and we needed a 3-point shot because we didn't have much time left. And so with it being like 6 seconds, we kind of slowed the time. We wanted to get a shot right away, and we needed a 3-point shot. During that timeout, I told her, I said, be confident. You can do this. If you get that ball, you shoot that shot. She said, okay, coach. So we get there, we get through the timeout. Time was ticking. It was about 2 seconds left, and they passed her the ball, and she shot the 3, and she made it. And we went in overtime. So we ended up winning that game. And it wasn't even the win that was the biggest thing for me that I was proud of. I was just proud of my player being confident in herself to take that shot. Because if I'd known Sam months ago from that, she wouldn't have took that shot. And so the confidence that she built from practicing on her own, she was able to make that game-winning shot. And so that buzzer beater. And I was so proud of her. And that probably was one of the most rewarding moments for me coaching here at Mount Mercy.
That's so inspiring. What are some of the recruitment process looks like for college athletes that are future college athletes looking to play?
So the biggest thing is work ethic. When it comes to being recruited, work ethic is a huge thing that coaches look at. We can see your work ethic, how you are, if you're hustling after the ball, if you're trying to get a rebound, you miss a shot, how are you going to respond? Are you going to keep playing? Are you going to stop? Those things all matter. And then also when it comes to, we look at attitudes. So when you're being recruited, they're going to look at your attitude. If you're smiling and you have a good attitude on the court, even not even always smiling, just being like encouraging, we look at those things. And so players being recruited, it's very important for them to focus on their work ethic, their attitude, and even just like their poise, like being patient, letting the game come to them. So we look at all these different things when we're recruiting players.
Of course, as an assistant coach, what are some of the things that you look at on the court when traveling out to see these players?
So the biggest thing, when I first go, I look at all the players. I do try to see what players stand out to me. Yes, talent is always something that's great, but we also need to see how they respond when things don't go their way. That is something in the game of basketball, adversity. We're all going to go through adversity. Things are not going to go our way. So when it comes to recruiting, we like to see how those players handle that. We like to see those players that are like, okay, I missed a shot. That's fine. I'm going to keep playing. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to push through it, through every obstacle, through every adversity. And so we like to see that and how players respond. I really like, for me as assistant coach, that is one of the biggest things I look at. I look at their attitude. I look at how they respond. And then I like players that give energy. I like players that are always trying to encourage their teammates, always trying to battle. I like to see players with mental toughness too. So when you're mentally tough, that's where adversity comes in. If things don't go your way with adversity, you're able to push through it because you're mentally tough. So I really like to see those key factors when I'm looking at players when I'm recruiting them.
What does the official visit look like for those prospective student athletes looking to become Mount Mercers?
Okay. So at Mount Mercy, what we do with our official visits, we like to recruit, and then we like to tell them they can come on official visit first by applying online, and then they decide to come. And when their official visit, when they get here, what we do, we like to take them and meet all the players. We like to have them, sometimes they can come to a practice. It could be a game day, they can come to our game. But we like to they get some food, they get to get a tour of campus, they get to meet with our missions, and then say if they want to major in business, we'll let them meet with a professor for business, and then they can learn about somehow the courses are and things that they need to know to be a business major. And so we do that, and then they have an individual meeting with all the coaching staff. And we get to really have a one-on-one conversation with them, get to know them, and we show them around as well. And then our girls, they go get some food with the players. So we like our players to have one-on-one time with them as well. So then they can ask those questions that they don't always ask the coaches, because, sometimes they don't always want to ask those questions to us. So we really want them to feel comfortable with our players. So that's a big thing that we emphasize, is spending time with the players too.
As a coach, what is it like obviously seeing those prospective student athletes get to try on that jersey and fall in love with your colors and the jersey? As a coach, what is it like obviously seeing those prospective student athletes get to try on the jerseys, fall in love with the jerseys, and fall in love with the school?
That is very important. Like seeing them, you can really tell a player how they feel when you first get to know them. Like once they are talking about the university and how they feel, you're kind of able to really see that if they love it. And so when you see that they love our university, they love the colors, they love just being with us, it's empowering for us, and it lets us know as coaches that we're doing the right thing, because coaches, we care about how they feel, we care about how we're going to help them, and we want them to have successful time here. College basketball, yes, it is important to focus on winning games. Yes, we want to win games, but we want their college experience to be great. We want them to know that we're going to help them become better student athletes as well as better players individually, but then we want them to know they're going to be better people. We really want them to know they're going to be better people outside of college. We want them to know that they can be great, they can be successful in everything that they do, that they have a chance at that. So for us, we're able to see that love for them. That's what's most helpful for me. And that's what makes me know that I'm doing my job as a coach and how I can help someone else's life be better.
What are some of your future plans for Mount Mercer women's basketball program?
So with this being my first year, I really was able to see how we have progressed each year. And so we're process driven. That's what our goals are. And so there was a point in time when we only won a few games before the previous coach got here, Coach Tip. And so for us, we want to focus on how we can be better winning games, but also better shooting percentages. How can we have a better rebound stats? Everything, those little percentages that we're improving on, that's what we want. Yes, the long-term goal, I would love for Mount Mercy, we're going to win a championship. I believe that, and I would love to do that. But I'd like to focus on how we can keep progressing as a whole each year. I want to know each year we've gotten better. I want our culture to be so tight that everybody knows this is what we do here at Mount Mercy. This is what we represent. We represent hard work. We represent effort. We represent joy and family oriented. I want us to represent all those things, and those are my long-term goals for our program.
What advice would you give those high school athletes looking to become college women's basketball players?
So my advice to players that want to become college players, college athletes, I want them to know that you can do it. Don't sell yourself short. Don't limit yourself. Know that you're successful. Confidence comes from within, but confidence also comes from putting in the work. So when you're putting that work in the gym, it's all going to pay off when it comes to game time. It's going to be easy. Practices are supposed to be harder than games. So I tell these players, you have to know who you are, but you have to put in your work for you to know who you are. And then you have to also know you're going to make mistakes. Mistakes are inevitable, and I'm okay with that. All I'm worried about is how you go after that mistake. How do you push forward?
What advice would you give those college women's basketball players looking to go to the next level, whether it's the WNBA, Athletes Unlimited or even overseas?
So the big thing is time management and work ethic, like I said before. So with your time management, you have to know that you have a good rounded schedule, that you have a calendar, that you're prepared, that you know what's next, what to expect. Because when it comes to being a student athlete, you have a lot on your plate. And then even mental health, that's a big deal too. So I want to make sure our players, they take care of their mental health. They know if they need counseling, that's okay. And so that's going to help them when they take care of their mental health first. Everything else slowly falls into place. And so when you work on your work ethic and you're working on that mental health, you're working on how you can become a better individual, that's going to help you for the next level. When you're managing your time and balancing your schedule and balancing out what you need to do, that's going to help you for your future. That's going to help you know you can go to the next level. And so I just want to encourage players that want to play in the WNBA to know that they can do it. So it's all mental. You have to know mentally that I'm capable of doing this. I can do this. So that's where I want them to understand that anyone can do it. You just have to put the work in. You have to know that you are who you say you are. You can do it.
What advice would you give future college coaches looking to get started in coaching in college women's basketball?
So let's see what I would tell my younger self. I would tell myself, learn the game. Get a better basketball IQ, watch games on TV, learn about those WNBA games, learn about your favorite college player. You have to watch those things and then you understand the game more. I'll be honest, my first year, I've learned so much. Almost every single day, I learned something new about coaching. I mean, there was players with different personalities. I had to learn about the personalities. I had to learn how to handle that. I had to learn how to coach players differently. You can't coach every player the same. So I had to learn that too. So I would say, watch those games, build your basketball IQ. I'd say also find a coach that stands out to you and see who can I imitate, I wouldn't say imitate, but who can I see that they reflect what I want to be one day? And how can I be better? So watch those coaches and see how they coach, and then you'll find your strategy of how you're going to coach, and that'll help you for your future.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with Mount Mercer's women's basketball program?
So they can find us on Mount Mercy Women's Basketball on Twitter. So that's MMU Twitter page. So MMU Women's Basketball. So they can find us there. Then they can also find us on Instagram, and we're actually the same thing, MMU Women's Basketball. They can find us on our Instagram and our Twitter. If they want to find me on Twitter, I am just Shareece Burrell. So Coach Shareece Burrell, I'm sorry. And you can type that in on Twitter. You'll find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram as well. If you type in Shareece Burrell, you'll find me there too.
Thank you again, Coach Shareece Burrell, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with Mount Mercer's women's basketball.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much also for having me.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Shareece, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you so much. You too.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.